Hi, Brett. I have one question for you, which have been thinking whenever I saw you on screen is the kind of speed, the kind of focus, and the kind of style that you brought to cricket. You're one of the, if I may say so, you're legend who defined, the whole fast bowling for us as we grew.
Well, the word legend's a strong term, but thank you.
No, definitely it suits you, and it is for you. If you had to look back at your career and the kind of standard that you brought to cricket, what do you think you did right that worked for you?
I've always said that I'm the type of person that has to give 100%. Whether it's playing cricket, going for a run, education. I can't do something half-hearted. I have to go in and give it my full best. And that's why I've lived my life. I've tried to get the best out of my ability as a player. I think I did get that. I've been really proud of what I've achieved.
Yeah.
On and off the field. But my dream was one day to bowl that magical 160k per hour mark. And everything that I did was destined to be, aligned with that. So it's important, I think, as a young kid growing up that you've got dreams, you've got aspirations, you've got goals that you want to achieve. It's how you go about that business is what separates you from the rest of the pack, I think.
The form and the speed, if I may say so, for you, you always looked like a person in control. What brings that? What brings that kind of perfection?
I think it's training, making sure that you've done the hard work, and I've always said that sport and business are very similar. You sort of never see the big CEO of a company walk into a board meeting unprepared.
Yeah.
You don't see an Australian cricketer walking onto the field unprepared. You've done the hard work. So I made sure that every time I walked onto the field, I felt comfortable, I felt confident. You don't know what's going to happen. It's up to the higher powers in order to, if you win the match or not. But if you prepare correctly and you prepare well, hopefully the rest will take care of itself. And you have days where it doesn't happen, but 9 times out of 10, if you prepare well, then you are destined to succeed.
Very aptly you compared business and a CEO and a performer. For you, I don't remember when those days would be, but how do you deal with tough time? How do you deal with criticism? Right? Sometimes, I've just seen sports players, sometimes they get defensive, sometimes they get upset. How have you dealt in your career with that?
Well, that's a good question because we're all human. Everyone's the same. I'm a person that was born on the south coast of Sydney. I grew up in a very loving, normal family.
Yes.
But they see you playing cricket for your country and they think that you're a different person, that you're some type of superpower. And that's not the case. Everyone's the same. We have times where you feel down, you have times where you're sad, you have elation, you have all these different feelings that go around, inside your mind that you've got to deal with. Unfortunately, for sports people, that's magnified because you're always on the television. You're always doing interviews, you're always, in that spotlight. So it's how you deal with that. And I've always tried to sort of ride this, what I call emotional wave. So when you've won the World Cup, or Australia's beat India in the first test, you're feeling good, you're feeling happy that you've achieved that dream. But when you lost that test or you've lost the World Cup, your scale isn't too far, you keep it tight. So that emotional wave that you're riding throughout your career keeps you normal. And at the end of the day, it's a game of cricket. And that's the way I look at it, There are so many other issues around the world, Obviously, the reason why we're here today, it's World Hearing Day. You might get out first ball, or you might get hit for 100 runs off your bowling, but think about the poor little kid that can't hear.
Yeah.
You put things into perspective, and you'd rather take a golden duck than not be able to hear.
Have you been always sensitive to issues around you? Tell me about your interest. You're an ambassador, global ambassador for hearing health. Tell me how this interest happened, and were you always sensitive about issues?
Yeah, and I guess it's the time that you can use your profile in order to help people. You don't use your profile to get a better seat at a restaurant or a spot at the bar or to get into the movies for free. You don't, I'm sure people do that. Yeah. I don't personally do that. However, you can use your profile to help people with a great cause. And, I'm very proud to say that with Cochlear, I've been, with them for a number of years now, and we've built this great team around us that are helping people around the world, certainly through Australia and definitely over here in India. And it's about building awareness and education around, healthy hearing, about hearing loss, about people that have had difficulties, with hearing. And we want to make a change. And I've been to many switch-ons around the world, and the feeling that you get as a person being involved in helping people, it's the most rewarding thing in the world. You think about the feeling you get when you take a wicket. If you get Sachin Tendulkar out, you feel awesome, you feel great. You go to a switch on and you see that the first time that a baby can hear. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty emotional, but it's the most amazing feeling.
Why did you choose hearing health over other issues? I'm sure you're involved in a lot of things, but you have a particular passion for this. Tell me, what got you interested?
It's sometimes fate brings two people together, and it was at the time of my life where I was filming a movie in Sydney, and Cochlear were on their premises. I'd known about Cochlear because I'd known about the hard work that they've been doing through Australia for a number of years. My son actually had a fall when he was about 5 or 6 and lost some of his hearing in his right ear. Now, as a parent, I'm on Google looking up hearing health. What's it going to be like having a child growing up potentially with hearing loss in his right ear? So I was very concerned, very worried. The first thing you look at is what pops up is Cochlear. Fast forward, then we're in the headquarters in Sydney for Cochlear, and it just all fell into place. I wanted to align myself with someone that I believe in, that are doing wonderful stuff around the world, and it just happened to be that way. And I've been so grateful that I'm the ambassador, the global ambassador, and I've been to some amazing switch-ons.
I saw one of your interview where a woman, you were interviewing her, a woman who got her hearing back, and she was emotional, crying, and it
Pamela
was...
from England.
Pamela.
Yeah.
Yes.
74 years of age, I think she was.
Yes, and while she was crying, I saw that you were also very emotional. I thought you were also going to join her.
I was there like, cut, freshen up. But look, it's that feeling of pure joy, of you and I take this for granted, or some people take it for granted. I certainly don't, now that I know about 360 million people around the world has some form of hearing loss. A lot of people just assume that you wake up in the morning or you're born, you've got perfect hearing, perfect eyesight, and it's the only sense that we can actually fix. If you lose your sight, you're pretty much blind forever. Your touch. However, with hearing, we can actually change that. We can make a difference. Yeah. And so many kids and adults around the world are actually benefiting from the work that we're doing with Cochlear.
Brett, one question is: do you feel empathy? The empathy towards our own surroundings, towards issues, comes from a pain point one experiences, or is it just that some people are more empathetic? With you, were you always empathetic? Because I know you do a lot of things, so this is one. But how do you look at yourself and say that, hey, I am generally a much more empathetic person, or maybe I experienced this, then I developed this empathy? How do you?
Oh, look, I think I've always been a caring person, and that's the way I've been brought up. You want to help people in your life. Yeah. And as I said, I'm in a position now, through Australia and through India, and I guess around the world, that people that know cricket and have seen my career, that I can use that profile in order to help people. Yeah. So I'm very lucky that I can actually do that. And it's, you sort of wake up in the morning, and if you've had the ability to actually help someone in your life, you can go to bed at night sleeping and feeling comfortable that you're in a good place. Yes. Because I said there are a lot more people out there that are less fortunate than us. And no one should have to live in silence their whole life. It's horrible, horrible, but we can change it.
Very cliche question, but do you see your life as saying that, hey, I have a purpose, I have this as a purpose, or what's the purpose?
I love cliches. You know, it's a game of two halves and we just try and do our best. Yeah, you know, you do feel like you got purpose.
Yeah.
And it's funny that people say, did you always know that you were going to be a cricketer? And I always knew from the age of 9.
Yeah.
I knew what my life was going to be like where I am now. It's exactly how I planned it. And I've always wanted to help people as well. I think that if you go through your life and you're narrow-minded or tunnel vision about helping yourself and about doing what's best for you, then I believe that you're a pretty shallow person.
Yeah.
And yeah, they reckon that the most selfish thing in life is to give because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I love that comment. You know, it's a wonderful way that it's been written because it does make you feel good when you can help somebody.
Absolutely. Do you think your upbringing, your childhood groomed you to be more aware of your surroundings, to be more empathetic, to be more concerned?
100%. Yeah, look, the way that my parents have brought me up has been always to, you know, enjoy life and respect people and respect the game of cricket. Try your hardest. And that's the thing, like my dad was always like, you'd push me to be the best I can, but never go over that mark that became, you know, you see some parents and they just want to live their life through their children.
Yeah.
He just gave us opportunity in life. And I think it's the way that you're brought up that makes you the person that you are today. So yeah, I think definitely, you know, my parents have had a huge influence on the way that I live my life. You know, I speak to mum and dad every single day. Doesn't matter where I am in the world. We've got a great relationship.
So they treat you as
I'm Brett.
Not Brett,
No.
not the legend,
No.
not the celebrity.
And if I'm out of line, they'll tell me, you know. But we've got a great relationship, as I have with my 2 brothers. And yeah, look, I've always said that I look at me, the cricketer, as a different person to me off the field or here today.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got to transform into that other person. You know, you've got to evolve into the sports person when you're on the field, and that's my way to separate sport and I guess normal life.
You know, tell me about the company Cochlear, because they're doing great work, and you said that Google got you to find them when you searched, and they came first on the search. But now you have had a close association with them. What is it that you like, besides, of course, the work that they're doing? What is it that makes you so thickly joined with them?
I think we're very similar because caring people that want to get up out of bed in the morning and actually make a difference, putting other people first, making a difference, you know, in the world. But most importantly, it's about changing someone's life.
Yeah.
You know, this is not, you know, we're not going to a cricket bat factory where you're making a cricket bat that's going to get someone to score 100. This is potentially and is changing someone's life. You know, the implants that they're having now, and the way that technology has evolved. And Cochlear, I guess, share the same passions as me. They're very, very passionate. They want to help people. And what they've done to make a difference is phenomenal. So I'm very lucky that I'm involved.
Yeah.
And I'm the ambassador for their wonderful company. And being an Australian company, I'm very proud of the fact that we are here in India.
Yes.
And we are making a difference.
Yes.
And I guess it's also because Indian people love Australian people and vice versa. I guess it's that special little acknowledgement when they see and they hear it, you know, about the good work that we're doing.
Yeah.
That it's an Australian started company and we are making a difference.
Yeah, and it's very visible, right? Like it's just instantaneous, the impact, very visible. What are you planning to ensure that it spreads more in India, awareness, and across the world? Do you have any plans?
Look, I think it's awareness.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing a lot of work through social media, you know, with you today, and you'll obviously get it out to your, you know, millions of viewers and all that type of stuff, and we really appreciate that, so thank you. But it's about, firstly, like awareness, but secondly, education.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that 99 out of 100 children born in India don't have a hearing screening test.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous. You know, every child should have their hearing tested.
Yes.
And I'm sure that as time goes on, that will increase.
Yeah.
But we want 100 children out of 100 kids born to have a hearing test. The first thing that my children had when they were born in Sydney, they have a hearing test. And you pray that they're normal. They've got perfect hearing, which luckily they have. But I can't believe that it doesn't happen here in India, because it's such a beautiful place and they care for people.
Yeah.
So we want to change that, and that's the reason why I'm here. You know, it's World Hearing Day. The work we're doing through Cochlear, the work that we're doing behind the scenes, and getting out that wonderful news of how we can change someone's life.
Brett, honestly, this is very, very inspiring, and I hope we have more leaders like you. One question for the young audience that we have is, you know, the yardsticks of successes can be various, but how do you, one, ensure that whatever you set out to do, you're successful? You did 160, you wanted to, and you went ahead and did it. You've been successful in everything that you've done. You talked about practice. What else is required? Because, you know, India, we are like so many people, extremely hopeful, very ambitious, and people are trying, and young people get demotivated also very quickly.
Yep.
What do you think should people think about when they're pursuing their own yardsticks of success?
I think it's about firstly getting your mind right. Now, I've always said that cricket is probably 80% in your brain,
Yeah.
and 20% is your ability. Now, people will assume that 80% will be your ability and 20% to get your mind right, but it's the other way around. So what I'm saying is that you've got to be mentally tough, mentally strong.
How do you become mentally strong?
Well, you just never give up.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had doctors tell me at the age of 16 when I broke my back that you won't be able to run fast again, you won't be able to play cricket again, try a different sport, try something where you're not trying to run in and twist your body the whole time. And I was like, well, appreciate, you know, your assistance and your counsel, but that's not what I, you know, my dream is to play for Australia.
Wow.
And whatever you do, and the whole benchmark or your whole yardstick, as you call it, is what you want to make it.
Yeah.
Now, if my son wants to play 5th grade or 5th division for his team at club level, if that's his dream, that's great.
Yeah.
Yardstick's not playing for your country.
Yeah.
Yardstick might be, you might want to be the best barista at the local cafe. Yeah. You might want to be the best worker here at the hotel. You might want to be the best anchor. You might want to be the best cameraman.
Yeah.
That's your yardstick, and if you can achieve that and you try your hardest that you possibly can and you get that, then you've achieved your dream, and that is like playing for your country.
Yeah.
But set your goals high, and when someone says you can't do it, you always think, okay,
Yeah.
yes I can.
Wow. You know, one last, we are today's World Hearing Day, so I want you to give message out for today.
But no, look, we are very proud. Today is a very special day, and it's obviously fitting that I'm here on March 3, which is World Hearing Day. As I said, we want to make a difference. We want to make someone's life easier, and as I've always said, no one should have to live in silence.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so much.
अभिनेता का बेटा अभिनेता बन सकता है तो नेता का बेटा नेता नहीं बन सकता. You know, that is a way. Doctor's son can become a doctor.
Yeah.
An engineer's son can become an engineer. But if there is a politician's son who wants to be a politician, fingers are raised. But the thing is that it's a democracy.
How come you have so much of energy, so much of passion, and all the time we see you working, doing so much? How do you do this?
I think mainly it's because I was a sports person, though I don't look like that now.